All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we have the Anvil Liberator Q&A that just dropped, and we're going to give it a rundown. I'm going to try to make this short and sweet with one specific highlight, at least one specific highlight that is great news for me. I mean, grand news for me, and probably many other Anvil enthusiasts. So, with the first question, what sort of capabilities will this ship have for refueling, repairing, and rearming the ships and vehicles it carries? I believe there were fuel tanks shown in the concept art. The Liberator will only support basic levels of refueling, repairing, and rearming, which will be done manually by players on board using supplies stored in the cargo bay. It does not have dedicated facilities or separate stores. So basically, what that means is don't think of the Liberator like the Kraken or the Crucible, right? Um, it can do what you would be able to do with the ship on the ground with some basic items. It's not going to be a end all be all repair refuel ship. It's not a mix of that the Crucible and the Gemini by any means. Okay, this is a lift platform, a carrying platform that has long legs. That's it. That's really it. Okay. All right, let's go down to two. Um, are the ships on the deck shielded by the Liberator Size 3 shields with the new SDF shield tech? They are not explicitly protected. However, the shield projects multiple meters from the ship's hull. So, most ships would likely be partially covered, but not entirely. The same applies to the Kraken and other ships where vehicles are stored on the exterior. Okay, in a nutshell, what that means is if the ship is low enough, say it's a low fighter like a Aegis Gladius, right? That will probably be fully protected. But say you have another taller ship, like say a Argo Mole, if that can even fit on there. I think it can. That will not be fully protected. It's too high up. The clearance is it's up there, so it'll be partially protected. The lower the ship that you can put up there, the better. The higher it is, you're gonna be dealing with some what I like to call ass in the wind, and you really don't want your ass in the wind. But as long as you have a proper detail around you, you should be fine. All right, question three. What is the largest ship that can be parked in each of the garages? The upper landing pads and the front landing pad. The garages and the front landing pad can store ground vehicles up to and including the Tumbriel Nova and Anvil Ballista, and what we refer to internally as XXS, extra extra small, ships, which includes the Argo MPUV and the Origin 85X. The upper landing pads support XS, extra small, ships, which include most single-seat combat ships, Aegis, Saber, Anvil Hornet, and Arrow, etc., and other single-player ships such as the Misk Prospector. Awesome news. So, I mean, we already knew it was going to be able to fit the Prospector, and I'm pretty sure a lot of mining orgs are going to have several of these ships for that specific reason, to get them in and out where they need to get them quickly. Um, you're going to be limited to what you can fit in there. I'm sure some of you guys knew. Um, I think their typo was kind of forced, but we'll get to that in a minute and I'll touch on that. Okay, next question. Can the Liberator transport one big ship on both its upper decks, providing the latter can touch down with all of its landing gears? Officially, this won't be supported as large ships won't be able to spawn there. But what players do after the initial spawn is up to them. So, while they can surely Tetris large ships onto the landing pad, it will likely not be supported as an official method of landing. Okay, if it fits, it sits, but do keep in mind when you hit those bumps, you're gonna have problems. Things could go wrong. Do it at your own expense. That's in a nutshell, okay? Some ships that are, exceptionally large in size will fit, but it's not really what you would want to do, but you can do it. If you're in safe space, it shouldn't be a problem, but just, within reasoning. Okay. What's the Liberator's armor like in comparison to the other military ships of its size? The Liberator packs medium/heavy armor to offset its relatively sparse weaponry and to allow it to take a beating while transporting vehicles. Okay, this stuck out to me and it was very important personally, to me because I like armor. I like having that extra, protection. Who doesn't? This is good news, but it's still questionable. The fact that it says medium to heavy, I don't know what that means. Personally, medium to heavy. I guess some parts are medium, some parts are heavy. I would prefer if it was all heavy, but we'll find out later on. Like example, the A2, that is heavy armor. It says heavy armor. Okay, the Carrack, that's another one that leaves me with question marks. Doesn't say, at least I don't think it does. If it does, somebody correct me in the comments and I do apologize. But the Anvil Carrack, it says high tensile armor, right? I think of that as heavy armor, but it could be like this between heavy and medium, heavy and medium. It could be. So TBD with that one. Next question. Does the 400 SCU cargo capacity refer only to the internal cargo bays next to the garages? Is there any limitation that prevents additional cargo from being ferried into the garages or onto the landing pads? I'm assuming only the 400 SCU dedicated area gets mag plates. Okay. Answer. The 400 SCU refers only to the internal cargo bays, which are the secured areas for cargo. As above, what happens outside of that is up to the player, though it may not be supported via the full range of systems in the game, such as it not being mag secured. What I get from that and what I think this means is, look, if it sits, it fits, including boxes. You take bumps in space, you're going to have problems. If you're walking around while you're going through space and you hit some turbulence or whatever, or you hit a meteor or, whatever, you hit a rock, that box is going to go flying if it's not on the mag plate. The mag plate is basically what secures the ships and equipment, including cargo, to the ground. It keeps it secure, right? If it's not on this pad, you're pushing your luck. Now, yes, you can fit more SCU in there, more than likely. But again, you hit turbulence, you come into an issue where you get bumped or get knocked around, and this could mean damage to the equipment and or damage, bodily harm, or even death to a crew member. So be careful, think twice. If you know you're going on a long range voyage, I would stick to the mag pad, but if you like living on the edge, well, go ahead and put it on the edge and let's see what happens. So, to each their own. Okay, next question. What is the primary usage difference between this and the M2? The big difference is the M2 is not designed specifically to carry spaceships, let alone multiple spaceships, which is the Liberator's key role. Again, if it sits, it fits. You can try to do it, but it's not its main function. Okay, M2, cargo, tanks, ballistas, vehicles like that. Yes, it can fit some ships, but if you really want to move more ships, the Anvil Liberator is your go-to gal. Okay. Next question. Would there be any consideration to removing the spawning ship requirements when loading your own fleet? For example, when we spawn the third vehicle, the first vehicle we spawn will despawn. Oh my gosh. I absolutely hate this. I hate this. Ultimately, yes, the current limitations are there as a temporary measure. In a nutshell, we limit how many ships you can spawn because we don't want the entire server to collapse. That's what that means, people. That's all that means, okay? In the future, when the servers are more sturdy and they can carry, their due weight, you'll probably be able to spawn as many as you want. And that's great news, but that really shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, right? Okay, next question. Are there any ways to lock down ships on the upper landing pad to prevent them from taking off let's say someone wants to escape. On the same topic, is there a way to forcibly detach a ship if it's an unwanted visitor? Oh boy, good question. Damn good question. We don't have any specific details to discuss regarding the topic of security and potential griefing and how it interacts with this ship and other similar ones. But both the scenarios listed here are areas we are discussing internally, particularly how we wish to deal with them using the current and planned range of mechanics. Okay, we're not talking about it yet. Security is a problem right now, but we're also in alpha, and you can't really test something unless you have big numbers. You need to know. So with that, what I'm getting at when I say that is we need griefers. We need griefers. We need the childish people. Why do we need the childish people? We need them. And you know what? Let me redact that. Let me walk that back a little bit because I don't want to step on any toes of pirates. Look, piracy is a gameplay loop, and it is very important in a game like this. Okay, I'm not saying that every pirate is a griefer. No, that's not true. There are multiple ways to play the game, and I don't think that piracy should be frowned upon. Okay, okay. Look, it shouldn't be frowned upon. It's a game loop. It's gonna happen, but there is a fine line between a pirate and a griefer. Okay, there's a very very fine line, and I would actually be bold enough to say that you got to be damn intelligent at the edge of your game, the sharpest spear, to be a good pirate. Okay, when the time comes, you're going to see a major split. Okay, there's a lot of people that call themselves pirates that stick their chest out and brag about doing this and doing that. They're amateurs. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Okay, they can do it and they do it because it's easy. But when the shit hits the fan, you're gonna see who's really cut from that fucking cloth. Excuse my language, but it's just the way it is. You're gonna see who's really cut from that cloth. And there's a lot of guys out there that proclaim and say that they are pirates and they are this. No, they're gonna ride the bandwagon until they're outed. And when they're outed, they're not gonna be accepted by pirate orgs. They're not gonna be accepted by basic, stand-up citizens either. They are going to be the ones hunted not only by citizens, but also by pirates. Because guess what? I'll tell you something I learned a long time ago. You never mess with a man's food. You never mess with a man's food. Okay? So, if you got pirates actually working a line and they have a specific area that they mess with, that they rob and take from, be it NPC or actual player, and they do it in a specific way. Look, man, if you have griefers coming in just slamming their ships, blowing their ships up, doing all types of crazy stuff, they're gonna get hunted down. I guarantee you, pirates and bounty hunters are gonna work together to find those guys. They're gonna get hunted to the ends of every system, okay? Because nobody likes to be seen. Pirates don't like to be seen. They don't like to be heard. A loud pirate is a dead pirate. They don't like to be loud. I know this, okay? I know this. So believe me when I say this has to happen. I kind of went on a tangent here. I apologize, but this has to happen. They have to get the numbers. They have to see how people react, what people do, why they do what they do, why they act the way they act, so they can better, formulate a defense mechanism, a defense system, okay? So we need griefers. We need pirates, but we actually need griefers too. Because if we don't have them, Star Citizen, CIG, the devs, they won't really have a defense mechanism against it, okay? That goes for pad ramming, that goes for whatever else, all right? Because, come on, man, it's no news. As far as pad ramming goes, as soon as somebody, is saw there with, as a target and they're there, you put some big-ass turrets that are actually competent, that actually have some good range and accuracy, I should say, they're going to get blown out of the water. Okay, so it doesn't matter. All right, off of the tangent, let's move to the next question. The Liberator is described as having extreme range, but how does its endurance compared to other carriers like the Kraken and Idris? Answer: the Liberator has extreme range by virtue of the capacity of its hydrogen quantum tanks compared to other ships of its size. However, the Kraken and Idris are over double the size and as such have even greater range. In a nutshell, what that means is the bigger the ship, the longer it can go. Everybody, well, you've been playing for a little bit, I'm sure you know this. New guys, this is true in real life as well, for the most part. The bigger the ship, the more distance it can travel, okay? So, you compare a prospector to a Carrack, right? You got a big gap in between there. And actually, speaking on the Carrack, I do believe the Anvil Liberator has the same kind of setup as the Anvil Carrack, right? It has legs, it has good legs, when compared to something like the Carrack. Not when compared to something like the Kraken, Idris, Javelin, etc., right? Okay, next question. Can vehicles be driven up the ramp bay door and secured on the upper deck in place of fighters? This is possible, though not advised, as if the ramp doors becomes damaged, it will no longer operate, putting it out of commission. You must then only load and unload from the rear ramp until it's repaired. So you don't want to get nothing stuck back there in a nutshell. That's all that means. You put something back there, the doors get damaged, it won't open, you're screwed. Okay? At least that's what I take from it. Okay, next question. What are the two cylinders on the lateral side of each engine? Answer: they have no function and are just rule of cool bits of geometry. See the image right here, guys. These two little things. Rule of cool. I understand it, but I think it's stupid. I understand it. You want to make your ship look good, but that right there, they look like they do something, right? They look like they should do something. This is the equivalent, and I'm gonna compare this to the RSI Perseus. This is the equivalent of that. What is it? The port side door that looks like an exit on the Perseus, but really it's not. It just looks like it. Stupid as hell, right? But yeah, that's how they set up the Perseus. So a little bit of a flop in my eyes as far as utilizing space with the creation of the Anvil Liberator, just like the RSI Perseus, right? They could have done so much more with that space, but they chose to make it look like it was a doorway, and they didn't. In this case, I don't know. That looks like extra fuel containers, or they almost look like EMP charges that you would drop in space, huh? Almost. But they're nothing. So you get what you get. Bit of a flop, but nothing to cry about. Moving on. Will the ship be able to traverse jump points with ships on deck? Yes. If a ship is landed on the deck, it will be carried with the Liberator during a jump. Great news. You can take it through jump points. This is good. This makes the Liberator that much more flexible. Next question. Is the Liberator... Oh, man. This is it right here. This question right here is a great sigh of relief. Is the Liberator a capital ship as it is categorized in the ship matrix, or is this incorrect labeled as it does not have any actual capital class components? Answer: the Liberator has no capital components. While this is not the sole requirement of a capital ship, size and role also play a part. The Liberator being listed as capital is an error on the matrix and should say large instead. Hot damn. Perfect news. Absolutely grand news. Why is this good news? Why does this matter? It matters because anybody who has been on the edge of their seats to see what Anvil was dropping as far as a capital ship can now rest assured and know that there is still an Anvil capital ship coming, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy. I'm ecstatic. I am good to go with this. I'm glad that they fixed it. And I would have been pissed off, honestly, if they would have labeled this a capital ship. If they would have said, yes, this is a capital. I would have been a bit shocked, okay? That would not have been good news for me. I am an Anvil fan. I love Anvil ever since I saw the Carrack, and I wholeheartedly intend on possibly switching out my Polaris for an Anvil capital ship if it meets the standards, which I'm sure it will. So guys, come IAE, November 20th, we might very well still see an Anvil Capital ship. We might still see. So hold on to your damn seats. The news is still to come. Next question. Where is the tractor beam mounted, and can it be used to pull an immobile ship onto the deck and then transport it off? The tractor beam is mounted in a deployable compartment in the passenger side under the remote upper turret. This allows it to have range over the external pads to aid with the landing and removal of ships. Okay, this is good news. A salvage fleet, a salvage org, a repair org or fleet. This is great news. It appears, at least from what I take from it, you can move ships with that tractor beam, or at least, help in moving. The Anvil Liberator is definitely a ship that I would consider if you call yourself a repair org or a salvage org. Salvage, maybe. Repair, definitely, 100%. If you are a repair org, you're gonna need some liberators. Obviously, you're gonna need some liberators. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's damn good. You set up your main repair ship, Crucible, I believe it's called. You set up your Anvil Crucible, and you use the liberators to go to and from in the system, right? So that's pretty good. All right, last question. Does the Liberator, let me make sure I didn't skip anything. Okay. Does the Liberator offer any facilities to house the crew of the transported ships or vehicles? Another very good question. The crews of those transported vehicles have access to their own dedicated area of the ship, complete with food, services, lockers, storage, a bathroom, and a seating area. Okay. I didn't necessarily see that, but I'll take their word for it. So basically, I guess the ship crew aren't, the people that get towed, they're not going to die of asphyxia because they ran out of oxygen, right? So that's good news, but I mean, it kind of goes without saying. I didn't know that there was like an entire waiting area, though. I'm gonna have to go back and look over the blueprints. But all right, guys and gals, this is what we got, man, with the Anvil Liberator Q&A. The hot topic for me was the fact that this is not a capital ship, and it was a typo on CIG's part. This is that right there has really, sparked my day. I'm beyond happy about that, and I'm sure anybody else that loves Anvil and was anticipating an Anvil capital ship, I'm pretty sure you guys are too. So without further ado, this has been Galactic Jack. I'll be making some more videos in the next few days. If you liked what you saw, please like, share, subscribe. New guy in the game. Like I always say, I'm a new guy in the game, but I'm going to keep pushing these out. And I hope you guys like the content. I'm going to continue to step my game up with it. So that's it. I'll see you guys in the verse. Take care. Peace.